So, as you may or may not know, one of my favourite topics is cancer. And after a sort of big part of my life, smoking too much, drinking too much, and not really taking care of myself, it was interesting to me how to reverse the damage done, which really got me initially interested in looking at cancer. And then the more I researched into it, I realised that maybe there were alternative or possibly even better solutions than the traditional cancer treatment industry uses. And then, and I'm always reading very interesting stuff on this, and something I came across today is an absolutely fascinating paper on the role of melatonin in cancer. And I'm just going to quickly highlight the real juicy bits in here for you. So if you have any interest, not just in cancer, but health and longevity in general, then you're going to love this. So this is from a paper called Melatonin in Mitochondria, Mitigating Clear and Present Dangers, and it's by Russell Reiter, who has been studying this subject for 25 years. He's an absolute expert in it. And melatonin and mitochondria, well, melatonin is basically just, it's a hormone that most people think is largely produced by the pineal gland in the brain, and it's a hormone that helps you sleep, helps reverse oxidative stress, and it's just kind of a repair or a healing hormone. And mitochondria are the power plants of your cells, or the battery packs of your cells. Every cell has one. There's 10 trillion cells in your body, so there's a lot of mitochondria batteries in your body. And what it says here, right at the top, which I sort of highlighted, is melatonin reprograms glucose metabolism in cancer cells to a normal cell phenotype. So that's very, very interesting, because we know that cancer cells love glucose. You have toxicity in your life, smoking, for example, radiation, pollution, bad water, bad food, that creates toxicity. That causes DNA damage. Those cancer cells mutate, and then they're fed by sugar to keep alive. And we know this because cancer cells have 20 times more insulin receptors on them than normal cells. They just love sugar. They eat up that sugar, and this phenomenon was proved by Otto Warburg back in 1931. He won the Nobel Peace Prize for it. So nothing new there. And so in this paper, they go on to say here, these features put melatonin in the optimal location to counteract oxidative stress and to reprogram the faulty glucose metabolism of cancer cells. Reprogram the faulty glucose metabolism of cancer cells. Now that's really, really interesting, because we know with traditional cancer therapy, like chemotherapy, what they do is they basically chuck, and chemotherapy is a poison, it's a toxin, they're chucking a nuclear bomb in your body, destroying the cancer cells, destroying your own cells. That's why you have all these side effects, hair falls out and things like that. They're basically nuking everything and then hoping that what grows back is your healthy cells and not the cancer cells. But what melatonin is doing, a hormone produced naturally in your body, is it's going in and it's converting the faulty cancer cells back into normal cells. So surely that's a much better process. And when is melatonin produced? It's during our sleep. So when you go to bed at night, melatonin is produced and it goes around and it does its job. And then they go on and they talk about the biochemical action that's going on. They look at the Krebs cycle, the citric acid cycle, and they go into a lot of detail here. It's pretty nerdy, pretty geeky stuff. You definitely need a PhD in biochemistry to really get to grips with it. I had a go at it. It's quite heavy. Towards the end, they say melatonin synthesized in the pineal gland. So this is after they go through the proof. The melatonin synthesized in the pineal gland is seemingly less than 5% of the total melatonin produced. So that's very interesting. Only 5% of melatonin is produced in the pineal gland. The other 95% is produced by the mitochondria in your cells in response to stimulation from infrared light. And we get infrared light from the sun. 56% of the sun's radiation is infrared. And so when we're walking around outside, working outside on the farm, hanging around outside, we get that infrared light. We experience that as heat, and that stimulates our cells to produce melatonin. So when we go to bed at night, the melatonin can get to work and do cleanup. The thing is, with these days, is we're spending far too much time inside, not enough time outside. So we're not getting exposure to much infrared. So this was just another reason to me that I was very excited about the infrared sauna here, which I'm sitting in. It's another great reason to use infrared saunas in order to do things like produce melatonin to help reverse damage done by cancer. And it made me think that's another reason why we've worked with a lot of clients who use our sauna to help with that as part of their cancer healing protocol. They just come out and they just feel so good. We don't know for certainty why they feel so good, but it does seem to be working. And when these papers come out and explain this at the biochemical level, it's really, really interesting, or really, what's the word I'm looking for? It's really encouraging, right? It's really enforcing what we really believe about how infrared is powerful. Now, I don't believe that people do necessarily need to use infrared saunas. If you're outside a lot and getting plenty of sunlight, that is the best way. Just like, eating real food is better than taking supplements, right? Exercising is really good. Getting good night's sleep is better than taking pills, right? And getting sunlight is really, really important. But we do live in a busy society. We don't, we work in offices, we work in homes, we work on our computers. We don't get as much access to as much natural light as we should. And so infrared saunas are one, possible solution. So I think that's really, really encouraging. And I hope you enjoyed me highlighting this paper. And if you want any more information on it, feel free to WhatsApp me or contact me. And I'll try and explain it hopefully a bit more better than I did here. Anyway, enjoy. Cheers. Bye-bye.